Hey everybody. So I've had the biggest, I don't know what the word is, just like complete and utter collapse of an entire identity that I didn't even know I was playing into, that I didn't even know was wrong for me. And perhaps you have had these moments waking up where you're like, man, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. How did I not know it didn't resonate with me? And some of the signs of this happening, maybe even right now for you, and you're wondering what the fuck is happening. Like, why do I feel this way? So, like some instances for me, the buildup was anger and constant anxiety, this feeling of discomfort in like everything you did. And I was just like, what the fuck? Why? Like, I worked through so much of this shit. Like, why is this coming up now? Like, it doesn't help that it's like almost Halloween, so the veil's super thin. I got a bunch of spirits all around me all the time. But this was big for me. And what seems to happen is the universe will put you in situations that are unexpected and new. Because what came to me, the wording that came to me today was, God puts you in unexpected and unfamiliar situations to bring out that unexpected, unfamiliar version of you, a new version of you. So when we are in these new situations, we have no stories to grab onto, no programs to grab onto. We have to rely off our intuition or soul or authenticity. And it almost feels like being like Phil Good says this a lot, where it's like your reality narrows and it feels like you're being squeezed out. But what's being squeezed out is that aspect of you. It's like that point where it's like you surrender. That is what surrender means to me. Where it's like, okay, fine, I have nothing else to do. And you're finally real with yourself. Instead of trying to play things out in your head, like, oh, that's fine. Doing all these mindfulness practices to bypass what you're truly feeling. And for me, this was something so big, yet I had no idea. Because your ego, you as a human being, an ego, are very clever at hiding things that you don't want to know, that you don't want to experience and admit. So in your mind, it's like not a big deal. It's like when you like relive like childhood trauma sometimes, and in the moment and up until now, it's not a big deal. But then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, that was a big deal. And that's what it feels like. And I'm gonna get real personal with you guys about this, and because I feel it's needed to be shared, and I'm ready to share that. But my whole life, I've never really felt comfortable. I've never felt like I fit in. I just always felt like I was different in every single way. Like I never found my tribe. You know, I tried so hard. You know, I played basketball, which I love basketball, so that was automatic for me. And I fit in because of my skill, but personality-wise, I always felt like the outcast on the girls' team. And then I had a speech impediment where I sounded like I was from Boston my whole life, and it started actually going away a few years ago when I started healing, oddly enough. And then on top of everything, even as a little kid looking back, I always felt like more of a boy. Like I wore boy clothes, I didn't play with dolls, I played with action figures. I just wasn't down for that. And I remember my mom always trying to push me into girl clothes and like dresses and shit. And it literally like, it irked me. Like I couldn't do it. I hid for 2 hours in the house one time to hide because my dad wanted to dress me up in a dress for pictures from my mom. And I know they didn't do it on purpose because I couldn't really communicate that. I mean, I was communicating, I don't want to wear a dress. I don't want to wear a dress. I hate it. But they probably just thought I was like eating your vegetables. Like she just didn't want to wear it. But they didn't understand like how traumatizing that was for me. To not feel at home within yourself. And to not feel at home within yourself and outside of yourself. You know, I spent my life trying to find that tribe. And then trying to find that one person that would complete me. And so I could feel like that home. And that's what came out the other day. Like I felt very abandoned, very Just like, done. And before I knew it, I was just bleh, to the love of my life, of that I didn't know if I wanted to be a man or a woman. Like, I didn't feel like either. And that's something that it just like it literally hurt my chest, and I felt like, you know, when you like go through a really traumatic experience, even like you're reliving a trauma, and so you have those PTSD symptoms. And maybe if you're gay, like coming out of the closet for me was like the same way, and it literally felt like coming out again. I'm gay, shocker. But it just like, it came out of nowhere. I've never said that to anyone in my life. I don't think I admitted it to myself. I just always kind of played it out in the same way when I was gay. Like, it really didn't hit me until I was like 18, but I always knew I was into girls. It just didn't register. And it literally just like, it shocked the fuck out of me. But discovering that aspect of myself, and like the first things that came up were like, well, what does that mean? How do I navigate this? Like, how do I fit into it? And I realized that was my mind. Your mind is always going to try and fit into things. Your mind is always going to categorize things. When your soul is like, it's cool, let's figure it out together. Let's create our own version of this. And that's what I did. And I realized the core of like everything I've been going through and like feeling has been because of this. I've always felt like I didn't feel like me, and I couldn't just be me. And now I know why. It's because I had this huge ass burden I was carrying. And I gave myself permission to not know. I gave myself permission to just be Lindsay. You know, to me, they feels better right now, but who knows? Maybe a few days from now, or a year or month or whatever, I'll resonate with he or she. But what really feels right to me right now is, why do we have to define it? I have a female body, but that doesn't mean I don't have like a more masculine soul that wants to come through. We're so quick to make sure we fit in that we don't allow ourselves the freedom to be us ourselves, to do it in our way, to live life our way. And that's what your soul, the universe, your guides, that is all they're trying to do, is bring out you. And the programs that we fall under when we're trying to be and fit in, all they do is they cloud that authentic frequency from coming through and showing who you really are, doing things in your way. That is why we are here. We are here to create in our own way. So that's my goal. In every single moment, can I show up as fully me? And that's vulnerability. That's authenticity. But no matter what arises, you will love and accept yourself and do what calls from you. Just like an artist, do what inspires you. And then you will feel at home wherever you go, because your authentic frequency is your home ground. The reason why you feel awkward and uncomfortable in situations is because you're trying to navigate someone else's home ground. You're matching their frequency instead of being in your own. You're giving your power away to programs, to people. Being sovereign is the ultimate freedom. That way you find your tribe naturally. Everything finds you naturally because it's attracted to your frequency. But when you play around with other people's frequency, it feels like effort because it's not you. Do it your way. That's what spirituality is about. It's not about just worshiping a god. It's not about just playing off all the woo-woo things. It's literally self-mastery. That is what spirituality is about. This is huge. And that's why I'm creating this. That's why I create my content. To help wake people up in that way. Not to this universe beyond the veil, but to ourselves. Because that is the ultimate power to create your life. Authenticity. If you do one thing, love yourself and authentically love yourself and be yourself. Make your world safe to be you. You would be completely fine. You don't need to know the rules of the law of attraction. You just need to be you. Because that is all life is trying to do. That's it. So when you feel those outer limits or even inner limits, those restrictions, ask yourself, what am I running from? Where am I limiting myself? Where am I limiting my most authentic frequency from coming out? What am I trying to hold inside right now? Because these outer limitations are literally just guiding you back within for a reason. Like, that's not you. Be you. So let me know what you got out of this. Let me know what you feel really restricted on right now, or parts of you that really resonate with my story. Because we are storytellers. That's how